Yeah, baby! First episode podcast. We were just talking about how dark it is on the East Coast now. Sad. Summer's over. And, wow, Rico with a beer. Whoa!
Now,
all bets
stay
are
the NFL. You gotta live it up.
Gotta drink. Yeah, it was delayed. I saw the Ravens scored. I took the under, so I was pissed off to see that. What are you going to do?
Well, I don't know how that's going to work out for you.
Yep, you're going to start the season off losing.
I always start the season off with a loss, so it's part of the course. But we're talking about how it's so dark, and then we're talking about Rico's dark soul, and yet Rico does not have a bleached asshole. And I figured dark soul, bleached hole, right? That's the bumper sticker.
Well, that's what I was just at the bank today trying to get out. You know, I thought there was a government-sponsored bleach your rectum program where you could get. It's kind of like the what was those loans they called during COVID?
Yeah, the
loans.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a APP, like an ass personal.
You gotta. Well, the thing is, it's gotta be with renewable energy. You have to spread your ass to the sun, and that's how you actually get your government-sponsored bleached asshole. Yeah, kind of like sun bleaching, like a shirt or seashells. Yeah. You just really got to get that asshole out there, which actually
I got a nice slanted roof. So, just get up there and
you have a slanted girlfriend too.
Hang from the roof.
Walked right into that one. Damn it.
Well, welcome to the first episode of the podcast, everybody. It's me, Brian, Rico, and of course, Donnie is here with us. And it's going to be a hell of an episode. I am happy to say that we finally have gotten around to watching American Gladiators, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean, too long coming, frankly. But
I think the show was too long.
It delivered. It delivered. It made me. I was like watching a sport.
Your underbet's getting even worse by the moment, but
that's great. Kansas City just immediately have a touchdown. Wonderful. Aggravating. Well, maybe it'll be a real shutdown second half. So anyway, American Gladiators was long, but that's because it seemed longer because they had explainers for everything, and usually that's down to a science. But this was episode 1 of American Gladiators. So they had to explain every single event and nuance.
Yeah. When they were doing the intro, I'm hearing this voice and I'm thinking, is that Joe Theismann talking? And it was. Did he host all the seasons?
No.
I remember watching American Gladiators. I don't know that I watched it religiously, every week or anything.
I did. I watched it religiously, man. I was into that show. I still think it's one of the greatest shows ever. They tried to bring it back, but we're too much of a pussified world now for it. But,
The best part, just to skip ahead for a second, is how they completely laughed off the dude's concussion.
Oh yeah,
literally laughed it off.
Wow. Looks like he got his bell rung, and he's out there really trying to game through it. Nitro's stumbling around, but yeah, we'll get to that.
And showed the helmet, not even helmet, the head-to-head. Yeah, it was a vicious head-to-head blow in slow mo. It's like that show the NFL tried 20 years ago, where they showed the most vicious hits of the week.
Which, by the way, is hilarious because Joe Theismann is the host. If anybody is associated with bodily trauma in slow motion, it is Joe Theismann. This is probably why he dropped out. He was probably like, I can't do this anymore.
Maybe if he snapped his leg in half, he would have been more repulsed. But he's just you just get smelling salts. It's nothing.
Yeah, right. Well, probably one of the gladiators threw a guy right next to his surgically repaired leg, and he was like, you know what, this is a little too close for comfort.
Who is Mike Adamley? I remember him from American Gladiators, but was he on anything else?
Mike Adams.
He was Adamley. He was the man on the street interviewing the contestants after each game.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he was the original host of Cheaters or something, but the only thing I know him from is this. Yeah, remember Cheaters? Oh, we should watch the first episode of Cheaters. And then the one where the guy gets stabbed.
Ooh.
Yeah.
First episode of anybody getting stabbed on live TV.
All right. Well, I guess we're going to start with American Gladiators. So we're doing American Gladiators and the new Benedict Cumberbatch show, which is called Eric. And as Rico has just made a face, yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that, and then we'll also get to what the writer looks like who wrote the show, because how can we not? After the thing is exactly what I thought it would look like.
You know, that person is the example of why you do need pronouns in your bio sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't know. No idea. I mean,
maybe he's an imaginary creature as well, and that's why the show exists. Somebody thought of like, what's a nondescript, weird man, woman flump? She looks kind of like what's the purple McDonald's character?
Grimace.
Oh,
Grimace. Yeah, she looks like Grimace.
You know, it reminds me of I don't know. It amuses me. It's not that good of a story, but I don't know if you remember when we were in college. I was watching like this random opening. It was like the last year there. We were watching a Penn State game. I was watching with Randy for some reason. And they had Beth Moen, who still announces as the announcer, but they didn't show her. And I was like, they got a woman announcing this game. And he's like, that's not a woman. That's a man. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's a woman. He's like, no. And he was equally adamant it was a man. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. So then we asked two other people, and one's like, yeah, that's a woman. And then the other one's like, that's a man. Equally adamant. I'm like, this is fucking crazy. It ended up being there was about 20 of us watching it downstairs and just waiting to see. They wouldn't show her for the longest time. It was like 50-50. Was it a man or a woman announcing the game? And they finally showed her. And the crowd went wild.
Yeah. Wait, what's her name? What's her name?
It was like Beth Moens.
Beth Moen.
She sounds like a woman. Moens. It was crazy.
All right, but she just has she looks like a woman. Does she just have a crazy, ridiculous deep voice?
No, it was so bizarre to me. I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? She sounds like a woman. Clearly, then these are people like our ex guy at our old show, Howie, who was 95% straight but 5% gay. So clearly the quote unquote women were men in drag that these people were sleeping with. Who knows? Yeah. It reminded me of that little anecdote.
Well, but also, Rico, you were here when we went to see American Gladiators when they tried to reboot it in LA, weren't you? Or were you not there for that?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Oh, well.
Like a second generation.
Yeah, and Hulk Hogan hosted it. Mark, okay.
How did Mark?
Yeah,
I definitely would have gone to it.
It sucked. It was horrible. We're standing in line to get in, and they literally come up and they're like, "All right, you guys, you come in." And we're like, "Yay!" They put us in the giant crowd. We wait. Hulk Hogan does 50 versions of an intro. At one point, I can't remember who. It was either Mark or somebody else is in the bathroom pissing next to Hulk Hogan. They walk in and Hulkster comes up and, dropping dong next to him, which must have been thrilling.
Right.
But we sit there for 4 fucking hours and it's hot. We finally get something to drink and granola bars and we've been drinking ahead of time. And we're shit-faced, obviously, right? To go in and watch American Gladiators, we're shit-faced. And we're drinking it backstage down from Sony Studios. We're sitting there for 4 hours. Guess what we saw?
Hulk Hogan's dick? I don't know.
Yeah.
Just the intro and Hulk Hogan's dick next in the urinal. That was it.
Right.
And then they were, after 4 hours
what else do you want?
American Gladiators.
Right, well, thanks, everybody. See you later.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah. It was like, we were like, boo, fuck you, boo, like 4 hours. Although I did go down and get to do the Powerball. I didn't get to play against the Gladiator, but I got to run around and dunk balls in the little.
On the course there.
Was it the same games that they used today, or a lot of them?
They were pussified. They had some of them were Powerball. The one where Nitro gets his ass knocked out still exists. Mm-hmm. So for those of you, let me just go real quick. For those of you that don't know American Gladiators, shame on you. One of the greatest shows of the 80s. It was a show pitting former NFL stars, bodybuilders,
stars,
not stars, former NFL washouts.
Yeah.
Well,
there's no way that one Gladiator was in the NFL. He sucked.
Yeah, he did. Gemini, you mean?
Whatever one could tackle anyone. This guy was in the NFL.
Hold on. Well, I love the opening. It's so funny because they introduced the Gladiators like Malibu, the surfer. And I watched a documentary on this, which is absolutely awesome. You got to watch it. About how injured they were. Like Malibu was in for like one season because he's like, I was literally just a bodybuilder, and they're like, go tackle people. People are going to be trying to hurt you. He's just like, all right, bro.
He's like, I don't know. I'm not here to
they were
fight
not very
anybody.
good.
No. So it's like Malibu, the surfer, Lace, feminine, sexy, always a lady, Gemini. And this is the giant black guy. It's so funny. He goes, calm 1 minute, violent the next. And you're like, wow, what a selling point.
Right.
Ladies, watch out. Why do they stay, Steve? Why do they stay?
Cheers to that.
They almost made him like
arrested episode 2 for domestic violence.
Yeah, it was like wrestling style personalities that they were going for. It seems
totally. Well, and did you see at one point? I think it was before like the joust or something. Gemini goes up there, and he got this giant black dude. He goes this weird coy face, and he goes, people say I have a lot of moves, but they're all to kill, or something like that. Did you catch that?
It was just the dumbest. It was the dumbest line. I don't know. There was a lot of dumb lines in this. So he said, I have a lot of moods, but the only one that matters is my competitive mood.
Yeah, that's it. Competitive mood.
Okay.
All right, yeah, we all like moods.
He switches emotions on a dime, don't you see?
Yeah.
Then there's Zap. He's super muscular. She would 100% be trans today. Nitro, the pretty cocky boy who gets knocked out. And then Sunny, where they're like, she's the all-American girl. You're like,
yeah. No. On steroids.
What?
Not at all.
What does that mean? Why is she gladiator?
She's supposed to be the cute girl next door, I think, but she's not.
She's not. I mean, Lace was always the hottest by far.
Really? There was they never upgraded it after that?
No, they did. They got a couple of their hotties later on, but she was the hottest one in that because she was like with a hot face. Oh, and by the way,
Terminator one.
The Terminator one, she was cute but too big. She's like that's Zap. She's way too big. But in case you're wondering, they go into the documentary. If you're wondering if all these gladiators got into doing drugs and having orgies, ancient alien theorists say yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they're there for. They're like, we're in LA. We're all drugged up. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're part of the contract.
Yeah, they're already in their leotards. Nobody's at Universal Studios. They're just going to go mix it up on the tour bus.
Oh, I was so jealous when I heard that it was filmed at Universal Studios. I was like, I've been there. And I didn't get to see the American Gladiators.
I know. Would have been awesome.
So sad. Only got to ride on rides and maybe nauseous.
Yeah, that's exclusively what Universal Studios is for. It's Harry Potter World, nauseous. They only ride Minions, nauseous. Like any of them, Simpsons even nauseous because they're all like shake you.
They just spin the walls.
Yeah,
and shake you like you're an unwanted baby.
Yeah, but just simulated rides.
Yeah, it's like in The Simpsons when they have the drunk simulator and all they do is have the kids spin on like a gyro spin thing and get dizzy as fuck, and then they all throw up. That's exactly what every ride at Universal Studios is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they got a great Harry Potter drink that I drank for a while.
Oh, the pear vodka one.
Pear vodka, the pear cider, vodka, lemonade, and a splash of grenadine.
So good.
And then I felt like if I keep drinking this, I'll just have diabetes. So maybe I'll monitor a little bit.
Worth it.
Magical diabetes.
Well, I don't understand why Universal Studios doesn't just sell a pass to come in and drink at Harry Potter Land. Because I would just go and just get trashed at Harry Potter Land and just not even ride the rides.
Yeah, I didn't want to ride any of the rides. Like the second time we went, I'm like, I don't want to go. I just want to sit there. But they didn't have any good food either. That was the problem at that stupid little hut, the Harry Potter hut.
Yeah.
It sucked too. Maybe we should just open
I've never been, so I can't.
You should open up a fancy eatery. Rico's Fine Cuisine.
Yes.
Real speakeasy.
And Harry Potter drinks.
Right.
It'd be awesome if there was a speakeasy that just had like awesome drinks, awesome food, and then nobody knew about it, but it's in like the back of Hogwarts. Just like the employees run it underground.
Cool. That'd be awesome.
I don't want to.
Dumbledore's Dive.
I bet you, everybody would be really dressed up in their finest Harry Potter costumes. In that,
yeah,
you got to play.
But Renaissance fair style with the tits out, like the bustier pushed up, old fashioned witch outfits, like in Hocus Pocus, where Sarah Jessica Parker looks bangable for the one and only time of her life.
She has to dress like that every day at home.
That's how she got Matthew Broderick. He's like, this is weird. Why are you always dressing like a witch? She's like, oh no, I just like Halloween, Matthew. And then she marries him, and then it turns out that he has to comb his hair over all the time. She has to dress like a witch all the time, and he has to comb his hair over to the side all the time for the rest of their lives.
They're happy together. Who are we to judge?
Yeah, three drunk assholes.
First episode podcast. That's us.
Yeah, that's right. Drop the hammer, baby.
All right. So talk about the show again.
Yeah, back to the show. So so many injuries. Oh, also one more thing. In the intro to the show, they have like the 2-minute introduce the Gladiators. Here's the show, and they're like, this show is visually interesting.
Yep,
that was literally the line.
I wrote that down. I'm like, I have to bring this up because it is like when you ask a 6th grader to give a speech. And they're like, I need to describe this, but I don't have any words in my vocabulary. So I'm going to describe it as, well, it's visual. So you're looking at it visually, and it's interesting. Visually interesting. Who fucking wrote these intros? Are you kidding me? This is Hollywood. It's amazing. I wrote it down. I'm like,
I think one of the Gladiators wrote it.
After Nitro wrote it after being concussed.
Sonny goes, I'll write the intro.
Got a job for you, buddy.
Did you notice
the ice pack off?
Did you notice how they described? They had like a blurb for each contestant, and so one of the girls, they said, experienced in skydiving. Like, how's that going to come into play in this situation?
Yeah, she'd be.
And by the way, experience just means that you lived once.
Yeah. She went skydiving. Okay.
Yeah, nobody goes experienced skydiving.
If that comes
if
into play,
inexperienced at skydiving. I'm going to put that
just
on my resume.
as relevant as experienced.
I guess
they described another guy as a hockey enthusiast, which I thought was ridiculous. And then it turns out he was a hockey player.
Yeah.
Why would you lead with that? Hockey enthusiast sounds like you like to watch hockey.
Yeah, like collect cards.
Player. Cool.
Yeah.
How does that help you?
You can call me enthused by the sport.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't want them to seem like they were more accomplished athletically than the Gladiators.
Then they brought it up a million times during the show.
Yeah, once they got you watching, they're like, we're going to bring it up. But early on, we won't say anything.
Yeah, then they had the 2 chicks, Brenda Hund, and who had nice boobs, and then Frankie, who kind of looked like a passable man pretending to be a woman.
Which, by the way, is from
honored by your compliment.
The town that she lived in was where I am from, Canoga Park, over there.
Whoa! Look at that.
Yeah,
it turns out that's Don's mom. It's like, hey, I didn't even know until I saw her. She was swarthy looking.
Was there like a picture of her in the hallway when you went to high school?
You know what?
This is the pinnacle of your existence. If you graduate these halls, this is as high.
Yeah, she would have graduated before me, but it's possible that she went to the same high school if she was going to high school then. But who knows? Do you
remember her backstory?
No.
She's
anyone, right?
It's ridiculous. Definitely his backstory you can't talk about now. She's like, my brothers all used to beat me up. They would like spit on me and slap me in the face and pull my hair and laugh at me and spit on me. Ha 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 ha. But we're really close now.
We chase each other around with a knife or a dagger.
They chase each other around with a dagger.
I must have skipped that part.
Yeah. It's like,
amazing.
She's like, and I think that'll make me good for this gladiator game. That's right.
Well, she lost.
Yeah,
she lost. I like the execution, like the judge when they're playing. So they play like 4 different games or 5 different games. There's joust, which is like using the pugil sticks. which is kind of what's famous now.
The Q-tips. That's what I would call
the giant Q-tip fights.
Yeah.
There's a hilarious, at least to me, kind of note about the joust sticks. Either Theismann or Adam Lee said, this activity is similar to what they do in military training.
Yes. Yeah.
No way. There's
maybe, in the movie montage.
They're jousting in the military. We're going to be invaded immediately.
You're going to need this someday,
China or
guys.
Russia knows that the way we prepare for war is we joust.
That's how we do it. I thought it was funny that the girls would joust and they didn't put helmets on them. They just put a little mouth guard in. They're like, mouth guard. Go stand on the plane.
They're already dumb. It won't do anything. It's fine.
Very
gonna knock him out of the kitchen.
Yeah, they didn't.
But then also the judge, like Gemini pushed a guy, and the judge was in a full executioner outfit. Straight out of Spirit Halloween.
That's weird.
I remember them going to the judges.
The Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
There's no way these judges had any training. Just like the gladiators, clearly. You'd think if you're going to be an American gladiator, you're like, all right, well, I'm going to be on the show a lot, so I don't want to look stupid. I want to win most of the time. So let's practice jousting a lot or whatever. So you have the advantage. You'd think the more you do it, the better you are. They clearly didn't prepare at all. The judge just made it up as he went along. But they went
whatever the crowd rooted for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they were saying, so the documentary on this is amazing because it talks about this shit and how like the cannonball thing where they're swinging human cannonball. They're saying like that was the worst.
One. That was
awful.
Funny to watch, dude. When that guy got nailed,
hurt occasionally.
Oh, got kicked directly in the stomach and chest. I mean, no, he missed completely with the pad, and the guy just nailed him.
He went flying.
Oh, right for the nuts. That's what they teach you in contestant school.
Oh, so good.
Even on The Price is Right. Straight for the nuts. Spay and neuter your pets.
Drew Carey dick punch right before you spin the wheel.
That would be awesome. And then, so they have assault, which is the game where they shoot tennis balls at you and you have to fire back with various missiles. That was always my favorite of the events. Although that one dude lucked out so hard, Craig, he wasn't even looking. He just shoots the fucking ball and it hit Nitro's thing. That was horseshit.
Yeah, it was already aiming at it.
Exploded. You're like, oh, okay, that's.
And then he's like,
he hit it.
I won.
You did it.
Richard Simmons pops up.
And then punches you in the nuts. Contested roles. I would love to see. God, they should have done a celebrity American Gladiators with Richard Simmons. Who else would have been great on this? Richard Simmons, Cher would have been great. Maybe
we're talking about 80s actors.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. when he was on heroin would have been great on American Gladiators.
Dude,
operating the well, you got to have some coked up guy like Corey Feldman. Shooting the tennis balls.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Amazing. So anyway, then at the end they add them up. So then there's Powerball where they try to dunk these balls into canisters, and it's 3 gladiators on 2 contestants. But as we mentioned earlier, this guy Craig just head to head clocked Nitro, who is clearly unconscious and concussed, stumbles to his feet after a minute, and then is just. I don't even know.
They were laughing about it though. That was the best part. Like just the amount of time they kept referencing, like, he's out on his feet. He's eyes like blades.
Don't fall asleep. You might die, Nitro.
Yeah, he ain't Nitro no more.
And then they had Nitro out there later shooting tennis balls at people. Maybe they edited it. Maybe that was.
They didn't have concussion protocol.
They should have said, "Good Nitro." They did.
They should have. You should. All right, so the show culminates in the Eliminator, which you get a delay on your time. Eventually, that's what happens anyway. Depending on
how I remembered it.
Yeah, the first episode they didn't quite do that, but later on they delay your time starting if you are trailing in points, and it's like a double dare style obstacle course for adults, where you're pushing balls up hills, you're swinging over things, you're diving under things, and then bursting through walls like on Most Extreme Elimination Challenge, the greatest show ever. That's another one we need to watch. First episode of that show, fucking amazing.
What show?
Oh, Rico, you're in for
MXC.
Next episode, MXC. First episode, we're doing it.
We got to find it. Hopefully it's
it was on Amazon Prime. I think it's on Tubi for free or Pluto TV for free.
Ooh, Tubi.
All right, mark that down. Most Extreme Elimination Challenge, next episode. So anyway, that's it. And then somebody wins. And I guess the promise was that somebody could become an American Gladiator. I don't think that ever actually happened.
I don't think they want to.
Yeah, why would you?
So like, what are they going to move to
Universal? A lot of those people by the end. How many seasons were there? Like 8, 7 or 8,
6
right?
to 8, yeah.
Wow,
yeah,
that's a lot of seasons.
Plus, they did like national tours and shit, live tours all around.
So the problem I had with American Gladiators, not a lot of problems, but I was thinking as I was watching this, I'm like, if I was watching this every week now, it would get really repetitive. You got to be able to spice up got to be always thinking of new games.
Yeah, well, they did though. They did have new games.
Yeah, I know.
They had one. They had the hanging rings one. Oh, the one that was awesome where they had to.
The rings one. That was cool.
The rings one was crazy. That's how you tear all your rotator cuffs. They had one where you had to climb the mountain, and then the gladiator would climb after you and just jump on you and fucking pull you off the mountain.
The gladiators,
all sorts of batshit crazy things.
I know. Well, that's the.
They had the giant balls, the giant fucking hamster balls. Do you not remember the giant hamster balls?
Yeah, I remember those. Those are great. Yeah. So I was just, that would be my only kind of critique of it. It's you have to be constantly thinking of new things. So if you're watching the same, do you ever watch American Ninja Warrior? I watched that maybe one episode, and then you're watching the people run the same obstacle course 20 times in the episode. You're like, okay,
I guess the Japanese version, every year they mixed up the course, but I just love the Japanese version because they had more American. By the time that show made it to America, it was like Iron Chef. It was shitted out. The American version was terrible because the Japanese version was so wacky. Like in the Japanese version, you had people that were athletes, but they were also like, usually they were just like a fisherman. It was just like a super strong fisherman that won it. And then they had people that are like dressed in dinosaur costumes, just biting shit. It was amazing. And the host just being like, oh, same thing with like Iron Chef. By the time it makes it to America, it's all gymnasts and athletes and assholes. And I'm like,
built their own obstacle training course in their backyard.
There are gyms that exist just for that now, which is.
I hate this country.
Well, don't worry. It's collapsing quickly, Rico. Don't worry. It's not going to be here long.
I'm well aware.
Yeah, don't worry. Harris Walls 2024. It's going to collapse on itself. All right. So what do you give it? What's your grade?
White dudes for Kamala.
Yeah. I said, by the way, did you see Kamala's last speech where she's literally sounds like Fred Sanford?
Yeah, it was great.
I said, if you want,
the press secretary got asked about that. Like, why is she talking like that? Like, I'm not even going to entertain this question. It's like, everyone is wondering. It's not a ridiculous question.
It was so over the top ridiculous. He's like, who out there's got a spicy pickle? It's like, what the fuck is happening? Oh, that's hilarious. All right. What's your grade?
Are we doing it? I always forget every week I ask you. What are we doing?
A to F. A to F.
I'd say a B+ because it wasn't quite clean enough. It clearly was a classic 80s show where they had an idea. And they're like, we'll test it out on the premiere. We'll see how it works.
We'll do it live.
Do it live. Yeah. For the lack of work up to it, it's pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I give it a B because it was really entertaining. It did do well for several seasons. It wasn't great, but it did deliver. So that's why I stick with a B.
I go A-. It was because of the explanations and a little, as you said, first episode jitters. It was missing something, but still, you saw a man get knocked out on his fucking feet. You saw a guy kicked in the stomach as hard as possible.
Of it.
Yes.
So some clobbering.
Ridiculous. Just ridiculous.
They wouldn't do that now. They'd be like, oh, it's amazing. Graphic show.
Mm-hmm.
So good. Yeah, good. Trigger warnings galore. It was amazing. A-. Every other episode after this, A+ for American Gladiators until the later seasons when it gets crappy again. All right, moving on. Let's talk about Eric, the show that starts off with a kid being kidnapped, which is always an upper, and stars Benedict Cumberbatch. It stars Dan Fogler, who I love, but is in this in a, I don't know what role. Dan Fogler's amazing in Balls of Fury, by the way. Comedic actor playing a serious role in this that barely has any speaking lines. And then also the little girl from Field of Dreams who chokes on a hot dog and ruins Moonlight Graham's chance of playing with his heroes.
Bitch.
That little cunt is the grown-up wife of Benedict Cumberbatch in this show.
I did not know that. No wonder he's so angry with her. I would be angry with her too.
And she's such a piece of shit.
She ruined everything.
Doc Moonlight Graham gives up playing with Babe Ruth to save that little bitch from choking on a hot dog. And what does she do with her life when she grows up? Cheats on her husband immediately after her child's kidnapped. The next night.
That was a swerve.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah. What the fuck?
So, my first impressions of the show were like, I don't like any character. Like, shouldn't that be generally something you strive for when you're writing a show? You're like, have at least one character the audience goes for in some way.
Yeah, that was weird.
None of them. Well, I guess the cop was the closest, but then they just randomly throw in that has a homosexual relationship with an old dying white man.
Yep, that was an upper.
What? Why is this? What is this about?
That was funny.
Well, so let me give out the premise.
Random
first.
Stuff.
So here's the quick premise. The show starts with Benedict Cumberbatch, who is the creator of basically what is Sesame Street in this world, and he's a huge fucking asshole. And he's a progressive nepo baby, right? Super progressive. Hates the government, which I can get behind, but whiny government guy. And of course, is a nepo baby whose dad is super rich. So he, has had the silver spoon. But he creates his Sesame Place show. The ratings are not great, and they want him to add a new character that's like hip with the young kids. So his kid, who gets kidnapped, tries to show him a drawing of this thing. He's half paying attention. He's clearly checked out. He's also what looks like to be an alcoholic, and he's a negligent parent. And that kind of leads us into how he loses his kid because he and his wife hate each other and they're fighting, and he doesn't walk the kid to school, and the kid disappears. That brings us up to speed. Now let's get into the nitty gritty of how every character on this show blows except the kidnapped kid, and how I'll show you the picture of this writer and why playwrights, while some of them are David Mamet style good writers, many of them just write depressing dog shit and should not be given any ability to write for TV because playwrights write shitty crap characters. See this? This woman.
Is it a woman?
Nope. Why is it? Yeah, that's the question. I love Google where you fucking click on a photo and it doesn't take you to the fucking photo. There we go. Go into it.
Google.
God damn, motherfucker.
It takes you to why to vote for Kamala Harris.
I'm furious.
No matter what.
Donate now.
I'm madder than I've ever been. Okay, let me bring up the Guardian. They've got another picture of this champion of sex. So this is the writer. Oh my God, I'm going to lose my mind in a minute. What is happening? All right. Here we go. Share screen.
It looks like a cat. from Saturday Night Live.
Here she is. Here it is. Her name is Abby Morgan, ABI Morgan. And yeah, it literally is. The show is so depressing, slow, and written from a progressive dickhead point of view that I knew this person. I could have drawn this person like a psychic draws people that, are missing murder victims. I could have drawn her for you before I even looked it up.
She looks like Paul Giamatti.
Yeah. Yeah, she does.
That's what any woman wants to hear. Tell your wife that before you go on your next date night. See how much you get laid.
She's got his forehead.
Oh, so she's terrible. She's been through 3 grueling years of loss and illness. Well, that's sad. I don't root for that for anybody. But God damn it,
I wonder what condition she had. I could totally name that.
I mean, from what it looks like, it's the Handmaid's Tale syndrome from one photo we were looking at, where she's wearing what seems to be a Jay Leno style jean shirt, but cut in the style of a Mormon wife lesbian, which maybe she is. I don't know where she lives. She's from London, but she might be living in Utah. Why are there not more Mormon lesbian shows? You're probably not allowed to do it, I guess.
Are there? What do you mean more? Are there any?
That's what I'm saying. There's none.
He was more, man.
Let's go.
Say one. Well, I'll be happy to write one.
Tell Chat
Mormon
GPT to write
porn.
one.
We got a conduit to the Mormon world now. So
yeah, we do. Let's get it. There's got to be sister wife porn out there, right? If not, let's make it. The first episode podcast presents sister wife fisting. Fister wives. I got it. Fister wives.
Yes. Welcome.
Oh boy. Wonderful.
All right. Moving on. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, what do you think? Lay it on. What do you think of the show?
Well, I want to save the ending for the very end, because I kind of forgot what the premise of the show was about, and then they did the ending. Yeah. And I was like, wow. So one, like I said, none of the characters are likable. The dad is a complete fucking asshole. It seems like he's trying to sabotage his own show for principle. So, dude, you're making Sesame Street. And they just want to reach out to other kids too. What's the fucking problem? Okay. Yep. You're not selling out, but he gets into fights with the other cast or the other writers, the cast. He pisses off one of the people in the government for no reason. And it's like, hey, buddy, other people work on this show. They also want to have a paycheck. You don't have to be a dick and ruin everyone's fucking job. But he doesn't see it that way, I guess.
Yeah, it is a lame-ass character. You're right.
All right. Thanks, Don. Way to weigh in. Don, did a large man run into your head before this episode happened?
I was on American Gladiators.
Dynamite dropping, Don.
Yeah. We're going to add to your...
I feel like, Don, do you ever
pile up on the guy?
You ever see the NFL where they try to get in a Latino commentator to hook in the Hispanics, and they cut to on the sidelines? That's like us going to Don right now. They're like, he's on the sidelines. He's like, yes, well, we are at an NFL game.
We're on the sidelines.
That bad.
We're here, yeah.
And people are in beds.
I thought this show, it seems like if you keep watching it, it's going to be one of those situations where Benedict Cumberbatch wakes up from a drunken sleep and he never even had a kid at all, because it was all made up in his
Newhart or something.
No. It was Northern Lights, or the one where they wake up and it's all a retarded kid's dream.
Yeah, I don't remember what show, but yeah, that would be a appropriate ending for this show.
That's how dumb the show goes, from all sorts of different perspectives, to that detective, from the family to the boy. You're like, this show is all over the place. It's really stupid.
Yeah. Well, it lost me in the middle, right? Yeah. Because so they lose their kid.
It pretends to be kind of sci-fi, but it's not. It's just lame.
and like they've got this black detective who is gay, as we mentioned. And by the way, as soon as they showed him, and as soon as he did something where they were like, "Hey, no date," I was like, "Okay, so he's gonna be the checkbox gay, correct? Yeah. Black checkbox gay. That's a twofer. So you got to have that." And yeah, a heartwarming moment where he goes home to an old man dying of AIDS, who is his husband, or at the time, I guess not husband, lover. Clearly AIDS, though, because of the time period. This takes place in like the late 70s, 80s.
It's 85.
So 85. So there you go. Check that box. You got your AIDS sympathetic reference. But I was like, why is this guy going to a club? And that actually comes around later because he goes to this nightclub. He used to be Vice, and he apparently overhears that there's a little kid in this. He's trying to bust this guy who he had tried to chase before. He was dealing with underage prostitution in the kitchen. He hears it on his tape recorder, which, by the way, no fucking way in hell in 1985.
Good tape recorder.
Yeah.
Got that straight off the boat from Japan.
In a giant
walking past the kitchen
nightclub.
Yeah. In a nightclub, walking past the kitchen. The guy's at least 10 to
like,
15 feet away.
Filter that. I like those moves. Where like, okay, drop the ambient noise. Drop that guy in there, and like it's a Walkman, basically.
Yeah, literally. And it's under his shirt. It's a necklace under his shirt. Enhance it. Yeah. There's no way he's going to hear audio from the kitchen. And it's not only, it's a guy talking to a kid deeper in the kitchen, asking him if he wants a sandwich or a hamburger. Are you hungry, kid? There's no fucking way. No way. It's retarded.
Spent his own money on that one. That was not issued by the police department.
So stupid.
It has child abduction and gay clubs and
I mean, up until that part, you're like, oh, this level's kind of fun, you know, just kind of doing blow on the table and beating up people in the bathroom in front of cops who do nothing. But then the people were beating them up were the cops.
They were the cops. And one of the cops gets killed.
Yeah, like what?
Yeah, what's going on?
Why did he have this character? He was an asshole. He was a piece of shit. His wife is pregnant, apparently, like about to give birth. I won't stop talking about this fucking kid getting hammered.
I like that cliche.
He's doing blow and beating up people for money.
The cliche hammered,
and then he gets killed. Like, well, what does this have to do with anything?
I like the barman too. He's like the cliche Irish bar owner who drinks with his customers, who's clearly too hammered. Exactly. So, I don't know. I guess they wanted. Oh, maybe they're going to ask the other guy to come back to Vice since that guy's dead.
That's what I think too. I think it's setting up for him to come back to Vice.
Now I won't know because I won't be watching the season.
Oh no, nor will I. I went. You know, I thought to myself. I said, okay, will I watch this? Because at the end, to flash forward. So this show is unbelievably slow. This is one of those shows where you pause it and you see how much time is left 3 times. And you're like, oh my God, there's still fucking 25 minutes left.
10 minutes in.
Oh, painfully slow. Which is, again, this is how the hallmark of a playwright is not having any clue how to goddamn pace anything. Horrible.
Yeah, and it's all featuring one person who's just essentially walking around the stage, but stupidly.
Yeah,
and not an interesting person, not a person we care about.
Maybe that's also
a person we hate to watch and can't wait till the episode is over, so I never have to see him again.
And I hope he dies.
Yeah, pretty much. So his kid, so the drunk dad that makes this show, he thinks he still has to make this character, and he passes out. He's all hammered on vodka, and he's like, "Oh, my kid's character is me," because it's got the monster, and he's drunk on vodka and thrhrowing up and stuff, and
he's like, got red hair.
He's like, "This is actually a good character. I'm going to make this into a monster for the show." So he stays up like getting really drunk and drawing the character, and people calling him. His wife's like, "I'm sleeping at Rhonda's," and he's like, "I don't care."
Meanwhile, I'm banging the hot dog.
Bagging the soup Nazi. Yeah, the soup guy.
Not bad.
Who just walks up to somebody on the street who's selling soup and is like, Sergio. Blah, 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 blah. Like,
yeah. My son's gone. No better moment to get laid in a pickup truck.
What a whore. Again, Midnight Graham made the wrong choice. Moonlight Graham, wrong choice. So then he wakes up hungover, still drunk, and there's an imaginary monster, real to him, that is the embodiment of the monster his son created that he's been drawing, named Eric. And Eric goes, "Wake up, it's time to find your kid." And then the episode mercifully ends.
Mm-hmm. That was it.
So that was actually because I knew the concept of the show, but I forgot it because I was so miserable watching the show. I'm like, well, it's like a gritty 80s show with unlikable characters, and I don't care for the show at all. And then they introduce a fucking imaginary monster at the end. Like, I thought to myself, like, there was zero, I was trying to calculate in my mind, there was like zero chance that I was going to watch this show further, but yet they made it even more unappealing at the very end.
I was going to go the opposite way and be like, this is like a really disgusting chick who wants to bang you. And you're like, no. And then she's like, but you can do anal. And you're like, all right.
Is it bleached?
Is it bleached? Good question. Yeah.
See, I thought the opposite, Rico. I was like, this is why
you don't want a bleached asshole.
No, definitely not. I wanted hairy and blue like Eric the Monster. So how great would it be if my asshole was dyed like Grover from the Muppets? you bend me over. You bend me over to fuck me in the game, and I go fuzzy and blue. You know I'm fuzzy and blue.
Ashton Kutcher shows up to a bleached asshole job, and he'd be like, "Hey Doc, do it blue. It'll be hilarious."
Like an Easter egg.
All right, but wait. So I was gonna say I forgot too. I didn't think that was gonna happen. I was like, oh, it must not be an imaginary character, because I also forgot. I was like, this is so depressing and boring. I hate it. And then the guy, like the imaginary character, and I was like, let me see. Is this? I was like, in my brain, I was like, maybe this is a 3-part show. If it is, I'll watch 3 parts, right? That's like watching a long movie. It's not. It's at least 6 episodes. And I read the description for the 6th episode, and it was like, still blah, 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 finds a lead. And I was like, nope, absolutely not. No thank
5
you.
more episodes to find a lead. Time is ticking, pal. Come on.
Kids are gonna grow up by the time the show fucking ends.
He's like, I'm in college. No one found me. Where were you guys?
It's like on The Walking Dead. Do you guys watch The Walking Dead?
I watched like the first 2 seasons, probably.
Yeah, I've maybe seen like 5 or 6 seasons.
Okay, so you guys probably got to the season that killed the show for me when some stupid girl that was like 6 or 7 got lost. And they spent an entire season trying to find her. And weeks have gone by. Months. They're just sitting on a farm fucking around. And they're like, we really have to find her. It's like, she's clearly dead. She's in a zombie apocalypse. She's 7. She's very dead.
Yeah, she would have found you.
Lives. I would have moved on with my life. I was like, I cannot watch this show ever again. This is.
Well, I thought there'd be a payoff and she would be alive. No. And then I'm like, they can't keep talking about this if she's going to be dead. And then she was dead. And I'm like, wow, I really did waste.
They opened the barn, and she's been in the barn the whole time as a zombie. You're like, what the fuck was the point of this? It's so stupid.
Yeah.
And then the next season is more zombies and more
That's
zombies.
Another show we should do the first episode up. Let me add it to the list. So
it is a very good first episode. I mean, that thing sucks you right in. That first.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The first season of Walking Dead was great, man. It's just as every season after that was fucking dog shit, repetitive crap.
Just
all right. So anyway.
Well,
no, I will not be going back to this. Don, of course, knowing you, how many seasons have you watched, or how many episodes? Already all 5?
You know what? I didn't watch more than one, but I did come up with another thought about, how sometimes if you are on a plane, you'll watch stuff that you wouldn't watch if you're at home. So would you watch episode 2 if you were on a plane? Would it be compelling enough for you? No, you wouldn't. You'd still pass.
Is it the only option? Is it back to like 1998?
It's the only option.
Like, hey, for in-flight entertainment, we're going to show episode 2 and 3 of Eric.
Yes, it's going to be on the projector. You don't have to pay for the headphones. You get the free headphones.
On the TV, like every 7 rows. They're so spoiled. They don't know what we had to go through.
No, I hit my head. I'd hit my head on every television walking down the aisle. Like, every fucking one. When they had him in the middle, because you're looking down and not bump people, it'd be like whack. You gotta go 4 rows, whack every time.
Yeah. Remember putting your headphones into the armrest and then having a little click wheel?
Half the time they wouldn't work.
Exactly.
There's no sound. They're like, okay.
Sorry,
what are you gonna do?
I'm a flight attendant. What do you want me to do about it? It used to be an ashtray.
Let me get my tools out for you.
Exactly. You want fucking I can bring you a small can of Coke.
You go bang the pilot. Shut the fuck up.
There you go. Wonderful.
What a piece of shit. What a horrible show.
No, it's
all right. Well, grades. Any final thoughts? Then grades.
No, I hated it. Like, make a character likable in the show.
Yeah.
Like I said, the detective was fine. I thought there was a stupid backstory that was meaningless to the whole thing, other than checking the box. Like, why are we doing this? Okay, great, you're progressive. But really, he's not like a lovable character or anything. He's just a cop doing his job. And his boss was a dick. The other cops were dicks. Both the parents were dicks.
Yep.
Cast was kind of.
You know who's a likable character? The old black, like landlord.
Yeah, but they made him look suspicious.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, he's the only one deep here, and now they're gonna he knows something.
Seems like when he was watching the boy walk off alone, he goes, "Well, it was nice knowing you."
Yeah.
Exactly.
I guess I'll be using this mop hole for something else later.
He was a good boy. Shame I done a shame of what happened to that boy.
Guys, stop doing Kamala Harris impressions.
Sorry about that.
Be an old black person. Can she be on what's that show where you are like that comedic improv where you give someone a character and a premise and
whose line is it anyway?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She should be on that, but for her rallies. She's like, all right, who am I tonight?
Yeah.
Someone from the audience.
Somebody from Canada.
I would like that more.
All right, so Don, your grade.
Let's give it a D. Only just because they were able to get Benedict Cumberbatch somehow, which I think is the only reason why people are watching it. Because I thought with him, they could have done more with that guy. He's a good actor, but the second you had him dressed like an idiot sitting on the floor with a headband and his head with a puppet, I'm like, oh, this show looks so stupid already. Like, they care so much about showing us the behind the scenes of puppetry more than making a good show. So this show's stupid. That's when I lost interest right away.
It's a solid F for me. It's solid. The weird thing about this show is it started off as an F. 10% into the show, it was still an F.
F
50% in the show, F. 80% F. 100% F. It never wavered. It was like a deadline. There was no boop, boop.
Yeah.
The whole fucking time.
Good.
45 minutes. That line.
Mine was. It started off as. For me, it started off as a D, then it went to an F, then it went up a little bit to a D minus. Then I looked at how many episodes there were and it went back to an F. So
F plus,
solid F. Horrible.
Well, they had a chance.
That's the worst thing you could do.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, okay. Next show.
Let's workshop this a little bit. Like, I don't want to watch another contestant show right up. It was not like back to back.
Okay, so you don't want to do most extreme elimination challenge.
We'll do that one in the future.
All right. Well, do you want to do The Walking Dead?
We should do that one for Chinese New Year.
Well, we should for Halloween. Actually.
Okay.
Chinese New Year. What?
Yeah.
Most extreme elimination challenge is Japanese, by the way.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Walking. Walking Dead.
Yeah, Walking Dead we should do for Halloween.
All right.
There'll be a new spooky show on. All right, we'll figure.
Let's go back to like a solid 80s sitcom.
Okay, well, I've got some lovable first episodes to watch. All right. Oh, A Small Wonder.
What's that?
What about
Robot Daughter?
About the Wonder Years?
Yeah, with Kevin Arnold.
Night Court.
Okay. There's 2 Night Courts right now.
The Norm Macdonald Show, which I don't even know if we'll be able to find. But was incredible.
I'm looking up IMDb right now for the Norm Macdonald Show.
Because, I mean, that show was incredible. But if not that, I think that Night Court or The Wonder Years are both solid concepts. The Wonder Years especially. We could do well, the new Wonder Years got canceled for good reason. But the old Wonder Years will be fun.
Yeah, either way, I'm fine. We can do that.
Well, pick one. Don, what do you pick?
Let's do the Wonder Years.
Night Court or Wonder Years? Wonder Years. All right. Next episode of the first episode podcast, we will do the Wonder Years episode 1 and a TBD new show. We'll figure it out. We'll workshop it and we'll figure out what we want to do for the new show.
I'm not seeing anything for Norm Macdonald. I'll have to go to the library. Maybe they got something there. Come on.
There is a brand new Netflix show called Chaos, but unfortunately, I was going to suggest it, but unfortunately, it's by the same person who wrote the show that Don had us watch that was 2 years old, The End of the Fucking World, which was, of course, a bizarre show about a serial murdering high schooler.
There's a lot of weird shows out there.
But I'm just saying, Chaos is a new show.
Well, let's look at it for a minute.
And it stars Jeff Goldblum.
It's bringing me in a little bit. I'm so sick of watching terrible shows.
We just don't know. We don't know.
So bad.
Also, what about this? What about a cartoon? Terminator Zero? That's an animated Terminator show.
On Netflix? I think I saw that.
Yep.
All right, here is the premise for that Chaos. I'm looking it up. Zeus, Hera, Poseidon, Hades. The gods of Olympus are just one big dysfunctional family.
Lame.
Unaware of the mortals of
That sounds terrible already.
That does sound terrible.
Yeah.
Why are all these celebrities? They're going to Netflix and they're grandiose.
Netflix has too much money. They must just pick up any show that anyone writes them.
All right, what if we go back to hot Koreans? There's a show called The Frog. One tranquil summer, a mysterious woman checks into a vacation rental, triggering events that disrupts the lives of the owner and those around him. By the way, The Frog, if you know what frogging is, I'm pretty sure that's what this is about. Frogging is when you hide in someone's house without them knowing it and just live there.
Like the Parasite, that movie?
Yeah. Kind of like that. There was one in Japan. This is a true story. Then we got to end this show because I got to go hit golf balls with my dad in town. But in Japan, a woman was living above a guy's refrigerator in a little sliding cabinet. And he was like, what the fuck? He's like, my food keeps disappearing. I don't understand what's happening. And he set up video cameras. And in the middle of the night, you see the door slide open to this little, it's like 2 feet high by 5 feet wide, and you see this lady slide out, yum, 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 eating up, showering in the sink, and like taking a dump, and then she goes back and goes into the little cabinet above the fridge, closes it. She'd been there for like 6 months.
Crazy.
Oh my God.
All right, so let's watch The Frog.
All right.
You sold us on it.
I don't know if that's really what's going to happen here, but we can see episode 1.
So
I'm gonna go check my cabinets after the show.
Yeah. So The Frog.
That's our new sign. That's our new sign off. Everybody, check your cabinets.
All right. So The Frog and The Small Wonder, or the Wonder Years?
Yeah. The Wonder Years. The Frog and The Wonder Years. The Frog on Netflix and The Wonder Years on, I don't know what it's in, but it has to be on something.
All right. If not, we'll figure
it out.
Yeah, we will. Cool.
All right. That's it for the show, everybody. From me, from Rico, and from Donnie. Remember, all together, Check
your cabinets.
Your
cabinets.
That wasn't all together at all. Awful.
Wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good,
It
though.
could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
Boo!